The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Another win for the Little Davids against the Goliaths. That was Paul O'Donovan's reaction to qualifying for the men's lightweight double sculls Olympic final alongside Fintan McCarthy in Paris. Of course, Skibbereen's Aoife Casey and Rochestown's Mags Cremen also qualified for their final in an exciting day for Skibbereen, for West Cork, for Rochestown, for Cork, for Ireland, and even beyond as well. So welcome to the Star Sport podcast, where we're going to quickly run through the day's action ahead of Friday's finals. The Star Sport podcast is brought to you in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose Credit Union, choose local, choose community. I am, of course, your host, Dylan Mangan, and I'm joined by Star Sports editor Kieran McCarthy, who has a slightly different background behind him today. He's out at Skibbereen Rowing Club with the beautiful River Ilen right behind him, kind of where it all started, I guess, for three of these rowers.
That's exactly it, Dylan. Any chance to get out of the office, I'll grab it. So the rowing club here is only a couple of minutes out from Southern Star HQ, and I thought, where better to chat about the Skibbereen Rowers than actually where it all began here at Skibbereen Rowing Club. Like you said, the River Ilen is right behind me. I'm literally within touching distance of the boathouse just in front of me, while just to my right here now is Skibbereen Rowing Club HQ. And this is where it all began many, many moons ago when Paul and Fintan and Aoife were just kind of knee-high when they got in a rowing boat for the first time. And their journeys that started here all those years ago, hopefully they'll I won't say they'll culminate in the podium in Paris this week, because obviously there's life after Paris, but hopefully the podium in Paris is part of their journey.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about today. So obviously we had the two semi-finals kind of one after another, so a very busy time for everyone watching. There was a good crowd in Skibbereen Town Hall, as people might have seen on our social media. And I guess they were two different races. Paul and Fintan very easily kind of pulled away, whereas Aoife and Mags, it was a little bit tighter, and they really pulled through towards the end to book their spot in the final.
Yeah, looking at the lightweight men's semi-final first. So there was two semi-finals, 6 boats in each boat, and it was the top 3 from each race went through to Friday's A final. So Paul and Fintan were coming up against the Swiss double, and the Swiss have been one of the form boats in the lightweight double this year. So it was always going to be a good marker to see where do Paul and Fintan stand, because we've spoken about it before on the podcast, Dylan, where it's not been a smooth run into these games for Paul and Fintan. The only regatta that they travelled together this year was a World Cup 2 in Lucerne, and they finished third there behind Italy and the Swiss. So this was the first chance to see how where Paul and Fintan are at now in terms of how they rate against one of the real form teams this year. And Paul and Fintan just laid down a marker. They were super impressive. They won with a bit to spare over Switzerland. You could actually see quite early on that Paul and Fintan were just they were in the mood today. I know Paul is playing up the Little Davids underdog tag because the Irish double was seeded number 3 coming into these games, but that was the back of this year's form. But I think they proved beyond a shadow of a doubt they are the crew to beat in Friday's final. They are the class act in the field. That's why they've won 3 world titles together. That's why they are Olympic champions, and they just showed it again in this morning's semi-final. So they were quite impressive. I'm just looking at the times here. So with the Irish double finishing in 6:21.88, and in Switzerland were 2.5 seconds behind in 6 minutes 24.31 seconds, and the Czechs took the third spot, was 6 minutes and 26 seconds. So I think what we took from it is that Paul and Fintan are in a great place right now, and the perfect position into Friday morning's A final.
Yeah, that final takes place at 2 minutes past 11 on Friday, so everyone should set their alarms for 11 o'clock make sure you get to watch it. And I want to ask you a little bit, Kieran, as well, just about the confidence that these two will have going into the final. Obviously, they've shown up at the Olympics; they're in great form, and they've proven that they are as fast as anyone else out there so far. Um, I wonder if Daniel Whiffin's confidence is kind of rubbing off a bit on Paul, because he seems to really be in the mood at the moment.
Paul was never short in confidence because he has such a body of work behind him. He's won it all before. Like, he's a world champion in the double, world champion in the single, and Olympic champion in the double. So he has won it all, kind of European World Cup goals. So the man knows what's needed to win. And it's same for Fintan McCarthy. Since these two came together in the double in 2019, they've just been unstoppable. They are the dominant force in the lightweight men's double. I think, yeah, they're obviously high in confidence because, okay, they finished third at World Cup 2. But Fintan was telling me after they were actually quite happy with that, in a sense, because with very little training behind them, and Fintan was coming off a bit of an illness as well, that they were just a second off Italy, who won that race. So they knew between World Cup 2 and Lucerne in Paris that they had a second to make up, and they've done that. They look in great shapes. And anyone who follows Fintan on Instagram, he's quite active on social media, and he was putting up in the last couple of weeks, feeling good, looking good, kind of feeling back to my best. And we can see that now. Very impressed by them today of what they did in that semi-final, and they will have confidence, but they also have confidence from the knowledge that they've done all this before. They know what it takes to win an Olympic gold medal. They did it 3 years ago in Tokyo, so they can handle the pressure. They've won every race possible as well. So whatever happens in the race, that touch wood, everything goes according to plan. They have the experience, the class, the ability, and the strength to react to nearly every situation. So I think they'll be quite confident going into Friday morning's race. But they always going to focus on themselves. They'll trust in their process. They'll try and put out their best performance, and if they put out their best performance, that should be good enough to win. And if they put out their best performance and they don't win, and they'll just say, like, we tried our best and we just came up short in this instance. But I've just have this feeling and this confidence. If Paul and Fintan do give us the best version of themselves on Friday morning, they'll be very hard to stop.
Yeah, I'd encourage anyone who is in or around the Skibbereen area to make their way to the town hall on Friday morning, because I'd say the atmosphere there will be brilliant. They have a big screen in there for anyone who wants to watch the race with a bit of a crowd. So that's one to look forward to. Again, at 11 on Friday morning. But Kieran, people will have to stick around until 11 as well, as Aoife Casey and Mags Cremen are in the lightweight women's double A final, and they've taken a slightly different path than Paul and Fintan. They had to go through the repechage, but their performance in this semi-final this morning was really, really impressive, like knocking out the Tokyo silver medalist France to join Romania and Greece as the three qualifiers from that race.
This is an incredible performance for Aoife and Mags to get to an A final at an Olympics. If you go back 3 years ago, they missed. They were the borders of the pack. They got to the Tokyo Olympics and they finished 8th overall. So they came second in the B final. And Aoife was telling me afterwards that Aoife and Mags were watching the A final, and they said to each other, like, we have to get in that race. We want to be in there next time. And 3 years on, that's exactly where they are. But they were made fight it, and they've gone. While Paul and Fintan have gone to the direct route, they won their heat and they won their semi-final. Aoife and Mags have had to go the scenic route, let's call it. They had their heat last Sunday morning and they didn't get one of the direct places in the semi-final, so they'd go into the repechage on Monday morning. They were quite impressive there. They won the repechage and that put them into the semi-final on Wednesday. And perhaps the repechage is what they needed to get their confidence up, because they were quite impressive there, and they were quite impressive again this morning because it was a stacked race. They're up against the French, like you said, the silver medalists from Tokyo, up against a good Romanian crew, and Greece were there as well. And it was quite obvious early on that there was 4 crews in the mix for the 3 spots that were up for grabs. And halfway through the race, Aoife and Mags were in 4th place, but they were less than a 1/5 of a second off the French. And as the race developed, you could see that it was going to be a shootout between the Irish and French doubles to see who get that 3rd spot, because Romania and Greece had pushed ahead. And Aoife and Mags, I said, they've never pulled harder, they've never rode harder. Like, they dug so deep in the second half of that race. And they actually pulled away from the French towards the end, and they're so deserving of their place in the A final. And now they have a chance of a medal. Like, they're in they're guaranteed a top 6 finish at the Olympics to rim with a chance of a medal. So I'd say they'll be gunning for Friday morning's final, because in a way they're in a no-lose position, because the pressure isn't on them to go win a gold or win a silver, but I think they could be in the mix for bronze. So definitely one to watch, and it's going to certainly add to the excitement in Skibbereen, because this is the town of rowers, and this town now has 3 local rowers in Olympic finals on Friday morning. So it's going to be quite special in Skib.
Yeah, really, really special. And I know you can't read too much into times in different races, Kieran, but it is interesting to note that Aoife and Mags in third in their semi-final, they had a time of 6:59.72. Great Britain won the other semi-final in 6:59.79. So they have the speed there to challenge for a medal, and it's just about hoping for a bit of luck on the day, maybe.
Exactly, and like with Paul and Fintan, Aoife and Megs are big believers in trusting in the process, kind of and if they just want to put out their best performance, and if that's good enough, brilliant. If it's not, at least they've done the very best on the high stage possible. Like, the Olympics is the pinnacle for rowers, and for Aoife and Megs now to get to an Olympic final is incredible. And what it does show progress from them. They were 8 in 2021, and now they're guaranteed a top 6 finish here. We got it just back actually to 2022 at the World Championships there, where Aoife and Megs won bronze there. So they have shown that they're good enough to win medals at the highest level, and they'll have to show it again on Friday morning. And it's important to know too that these are the last ever lightweight rowing finals at the Olympics. The lightweight rowing is being cut from the games after this. So whoever wins gold on Friday, they can always claim that they'll be the Olympic lightweight world champions forever, for eternity, because there'll be no one ever to take that crown off them. So it's not that they needed an extra incentive, but for Paul and Fintan and for Aoife and Megs to be the reigning champions for eternity, I take that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting, isn't it? And even like, we still have Phil Healy to come, we still have Nicola Tuttle to come. It seems like the Olympics is feels like it's just getting going after today.
So then we have the David Harton, the Irish women's hockey team, will be in action on Thursday and Friday in their final 2 pool games as well. So they need results there. But quick word on David, he's been in outstanding form for the Irish men's hockey team. He was brilliant in the first game against Belgium, and he's really proved why he was voted the best goalkeeper in the world in 2015 and 2016. You mentioned there Nicola Tuttle. She'll get her Olympics underway in the women's hammer on Sunday morning in the Stade de France. That's when the qualification groups for the women's hammer get up and running. And what an experience that's going to be for Nicola Tuttle, only 20 years of age, way ahead of schedule, and she'll be competing on an Olympic level. And then obviously Phil Healy's part of the 2 relay teams. The mixed relay team get underway this weekend. I'm not sure yet will Phil actually be part of the team that goes on the track, which is part of the squad. But then it's the Friday after, on August 9th, when the women's 4x4 will take part in their heat, and Phil will have a huge role to play in that, because she'll be fresh, Dylan. Because if we're looking at the likes of Rashida Adeleke, Sophie Becker, Charlene Maudsley, they'll all have rounds in their legs from the mixed, and obviously from the individual 400 as well. But Phil will be fresh, and depending on how the 400 individual pans out, the likes of Adeleke probably won't be available for the first round of the women's 4x4, because the women's 4x4 final is on the same day as the heat of the women's 4x4 relay. So the likes of Phil will have a huge role to play as a senior athlete in that team to get the Irish team through to the final. And again, if Phil can get another Olympic final off the back of Tokyo, that would be incredible for her. So, like you said, just getting started, and hopefully the medals will start to fall West Cork in the next couple of days.
Yeah, fingers crossed. You can obviously read all about our Olympic coverage, which is brought to you in partnership with Cork County Council. There's plenty in this week's Southern Star, which will be in shops and online from Thursday morning. There's also the small matter of the football championships, the club championship that has thrown in, and Castlehaven got off to a fast start. So we have a match report from there and all around West Cork as well. There's John Hayes. There's our inaugural team of the week as well, where the sport team here have chosen a West Cork football team of the week from across the championship. And there's a whole lot more in there as well, Kieran. So I would encourage everyone to pick up a copy in shops or online, like I said, from tomorrow morning. Head to southernstar.ie/subscribe to subscribe online. Enter your details. You'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week. And as always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast, and thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. Please remember to rate, review and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We'll be back again very shortly, and we're all on the countdown now to Friday morning.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.